Inside a diner, most customers sit quietly, focused on their phones. A man suddenly rushes in and claims he has come from the future to warn them. As he speaks, many people keep looking at their screens. Frustrated, he begins taking their phones and throwing them away, saying humanity is heading toward disaster if this behavior continues.
Are you engaged? Am I not engaging enough?
Some customers try to leave, but he blocks them. A few strong men prepare to confront him, but he reveals a bomb strapped to his body and threatens to detonate it if anyone approaches. Fear spreads and everyone sits back down.
I got a bomb! Yeah.
He then speaks more calmly, explaining that the future has already been ruined due to people's obsession with digital distractions. He says he returned to prevent that outcome and needs a group to help him. He reveals that he has repeated this same moment 117 times, always coming back to this diner because it has the right mix of people for his plan. He intends to keep trying until he finds the correct team.
That's why I'm here! I'm looking for recruits! Soldiers!
One man volunteers, but the stranger dismisses him as useless. He points out an older man and explains that joining would lead to his death within minutes. He also refers to a woman, saying that in many timelines they developed a connection, but she always betrayed him. Despite this, he continues asking for volunteers, but most people remain silent.
You betray me every goddamn time. You break my heart, but here I am.
He tries to persuade some of them, insisting they would make the best team, but he is largely ignored. The chef of the diner comes out and insults him, saying he is crazy and looks like a homeless man. The man grows furious and yells that what he is wearing is the best fashion from his timeline.
Why is everyone from your timeline so fucking dumb?
You look homeless, bro.
Who said that?
After more persuasion, a woman named Susan agrees to join. Encouraged, the man forces a bald man named Scoot and a nearby couple to take part. A man named Bob joins willingly. Another woman named Ingrid offers help, but he rejects her, saying she makes him uncomfortable. He instead selects a woman named Marie, but when a sauce bottle falls and points toward Ingrid, he changes his decision and includes her as well.
I'll go with you.
No, absolutely not.
At that moment, police sirens are heard outside, and officers surround the diner. Some people question how they will escape. The man responds that if this group is not the correct one, they are about to face serious trouble.
Let's roll those dice. The
Revolution begins tonight!
The scene then shifts to 2 days earlier, focusing on two participants, Mark and Janet. Janet once brought Mark to her school to fill in for a substitute teacher. When Mark enters the classroom, he sees that the students are completely distracted and glued to their phones. He tries to talk to them, but no one takes him seriously.
But speaking of rules, are you allowed to have your phones out in class like this?
One of the students even asks him to get her a Pepsi because she did not get one that day. Later, during a break, he and Janet learn that another teacher has taken a sabbatical, raising concerns since several teachers have recently disappeared under similar circumstances. Mark asks about the school's phone policy, but no one can clearly explain it.
What exactly are the rules about students using phones in class?
Oh, that's a ridiculous one.
One teacher admits that phones are a major problem and reveals that he has secretly created a device that can temporarily disable electronics. Suddenly, an alarm sounds throughout the school, reporting a shooting. Teachers and students quickly move into a safe room. Inside, a student begins harassing a female teacher, telling her she looks old and ugly. Mark tries to step in, but Janet stops him to avoid drawing attention or making the situation worse.
School shooting.
Really?
Come on.
What did you say, Grandpa Dinosaur?
Honey, he didn't mean it.
After some time, the attacker is taken into custody and the situation settles. School activities continue as if nothing happened. Back in the classroom, Mark observes that all the students are absorbed in endlessly scrolling on their phones. Watching this begins to affect him, and he feels strangely drawn to it. He reaches out and touches one student's device, and the screen suddenly switches to an unfamiliar symbol. Within moments, every phone in the room shows the same image. The students slowly rise and move toward him with empty expressions. Sensing danger, Mark runs out and locks himself inside the cafeteria. He talks to Janet and explains what he has seen, suspecting a connection between the missing teachers and the students' strange behavior. Janet worries that making such claims could cost her job.
I lose this job because you touched a kid's phone.
Janet.
While they are still talking, the students break into the cafeteria. Mark and Janet escape and return to the classroom, where they find the experimental device their colleague had built. When the students force their way in again, They use the device and the phones shut down briefly. The students return to normal for a short time, but soon the devices reactivate and they attack again. Realizing they cannot stay, Mark and Janet leave the school and drive away immediately. Back at the diner, the group continues trying to understand the man's story. Someone points out that if he has repeated this situation so many times, he should already know how to escape. He explains that he does not know a successful way out, only the outcomes that always fail. Attempts to leave through the front door result in police firing at them. Exiting through the back leads to dogs being released to stop them. Using the emergency exit causes the police to fill the area with smoke and force them back inside.
Well, if you've done this so many times, then why don't you just tell us which way to go?
Because there's no correct answer here, Janet.
This frustrates the group, and they insist there must be another option. After a pause, the man admits there is one possible plan, but warns that it involves a sacrifice. The group would need to split into two, with one side drawing attention so the other can escape. The idea causes fear and anger, as no one wants to risk their life.
One group goes out the back door, and the other sacrifices their lives so the other can make it.
Ingrid offers to take on the dangerous role, but he rejects the idea, saying it would not succeed. He then turns to Bob and reveals that he knows Bob is carrying a weapon. Bob is surprised, but the man takes it and urges him to act bravely. Bob steps outside, but he is shot by the police within seconds.
You've done it before. You've survived before. Do it for those boys back at your booth.
At the same time, the group notices that officers have started forcing their way into the diner. Scoot reacts with anger and blames the man for what happened to Bob, attacking him. The man quickly grabs the trigger connected to the bomb on his chest, reminding Scoot of the threat. Scoot immediately stops and backs away.
Hey, clicky, clicky.
Wait, there's another way.
During the confusion inside the diner, Susan recalls a possible exit connected to a cellar beneath the building. The man doubts her at first, but with the police already forcing their way in, the group follows her. After searching, they find a hidden door leading underground. Before going down, the man collects all their phones and destroys them, insisting that no one carry any device.
So unnecessary!
Down the ladder. Come on, guy with the button, huh? Let's go.
They enter the cellar and confirm that Susan was right. Suddenly, the man turns on her, grabbing her and demanding to know how she knew about the passage. He grows suspicious and questions her identity. Susan tries to calm him and suggests that this group might finally be the right one. The argument is cut short as they move through the underground route and successfully escape the diner.
Maybe it's just like you said. We are the right group, huh?
The story then shifts to Susan's past. One day she goes to her son's school to pick him up, but a shooting breaks out. During the incident, her son is killed, leaving her in shock. She later remains at the school to complete the necessary paperwork. While sitting there, a group of mothers approaches her, and one quietly hands her a card with an address, advising her to go home and visit the place the next day.
After we sign the paperwork, you can come with us.
That night, Susan returns home and breaks down in her son's room, surrounded by his belongings. The following day, she visits the address. At the location, a well-dressed executive welcomes her and brings her inside. After confirming that it is her first visit, he asks for details about her son. Susan is confused, but the man explains that their company offers a service to create a clone of her child. He describes how they can replicate the body using DNA, making it physically identical, though the mind and personality may not fully match.
Fully organic human flesh taken directly from your son's source DNA.
Susan questions why she has never heard of such technology. The man explains that the company operates in secrecy because the service is expensive and controversial. He adds that since her son died in a public school shooting, the government will cover most of the cost. She can also receive a discount if she agrees to a version that includes daily advertisements.
But because your son was killed in a public school shooting, the government will actually take the hit for most of it.
Still overwhelmed, Susan follows him to another room where they begin building the personality profile. She is asked to select traits similar to her son's. One option is labeled as highly unstable, which the executive explains is often used when cloning school shooters for research purposes, as the government studies them and believes there is a strong chance the clone will not become violent again.
One of the options is completely unhinged.
Yeah, but those are usually for the shooters, not the ones who get shot.
Though disturbed, Susan continues. She is asked to choose a hobby but cannot decide, so the man assigns sports automatically. When asked about habits, she mentions that her son was slightly clumsy. The executive advises against adding that trait, but she insists on keeping it because it reminds her of him.
I liked that he was clumsy.
Okay, clumsy.
After completing the setup, the executive gives her another card and asks her to wait. Soon after, a door opens and the clone boy walks out. Susan rushes forward and embraces him, overcome with emotion. On the way home, she tries to interact with him normally, but his responses feel unnatural. He spends most of the time focused on his phone. She later notices a strange code marked on the back of his neck. Without warning, the clone starts greeting a soldier passing by them.
I don't know that drink.
It's only got 70 calories and it's delicious.
At home, Susan tries again to have a real conversation and suggests that he reconnect with his friends. Instead, he calmly shifts his attention to sports practice and leaves the room. Curious, she follows him outside and sees him practicing basketball without a ball. Disturbed by his behavior, Susan takes the card she was given and decides to return to the company for answers.
Where are you going, honey?
Gotta play sports.
When Susan returns to the location, she meets the same group of mothers who first approached her. They welcome her into their gathering and bring the children together to play. She tells them that the clone does not really feel like her son, but they assure her that she will get used to it in time. As she watches, she begins to notice something is wrong. The clone children behave in a mechanical way, with odd movements, unnatural speech, and a constant focus on their phones.
Almost like having a stranger living at my house.
We don't mind so much.
Inside, she meets other parents who also have clone children. One family casually shares that they have lost several clone versions of their daughter in repeated school shooting incidents. They explain that they tried to make their newest clone funnier so she could make them laugh, and even made her taller simply because they wanted to. Susan is confused by how they are treating their daughter. She feels disturbed, but the others treat it lightly, explaining that after losing their original children, they no longer react the same way.
And then we lost the clone in a school shooting. Oh, she's so entertaining. We just went nuts. She makes us laugh.
As Susan prepares to leave, a quiet man approaches her in private. He explains that he went through the same experience and that his clone did not behave like the real child. Before leaving, he gives her another card and tells her that if she truly wants her son back, she needs to purchase a special hard drive and an earpiece. He claims that once installed, the voice she hears through the earpiece will act exactly like her real son.
I got a bunch of them at home.
Susan follows the advice and begins spending hours listening to the voice, becoming emotionally attached to it. Meanwhile, the clone boy sits nearby, focused on his phone and ignored. During one of these conversations, the voice tells her that she will soon meet a man at a diner and must follow him, no matter what happens.
You have to go with him.
With who?
The man in the restaurant.
The story returns to the present. After escaping the diner, the man gathers the group and lays out a map. He explains that nearby, a young boy is developing an advanced artificial intelligence system that will eventually destroy humanity. The group must reach the boy before a countdown on the system finishes. He warns them about obstacles, including a homeless man they must avoid disturbing.
Fucking nonsense.
What was that, Scott? Speak up.
Some members question whether they need to kill the child, but the man explains that it is not necessary. Instead, they must insert a special drive into the system, a hidden safeguard designed to prevent the AI from becoming too powerful. With the plan set, they begin moving through the city.
Just before it gains consciousness.
What kind of safety measures?
Do I look like a software engineer?
After a short distance, they realize a car is following them. They run and hide in an alley as two men wearing pig masks exit the vehicle and search the area. The group asks who these people are, but the man admits he does not know, explaining that this situation has never occurred in previous attempts. The man tells them to wait and goes upstairs to check the roof.
Stay here.
And keep quiet.
Scoot grows suspicious and suggests that the bomb on the man may not be real. He proposes attacking him when the opportunity arises. At that moment, Ingrid begins bleeding from her nose and weakly asks who brought a phone. Scoot reveals that he secretly kept one and hands it to her, but she immediately destroys it. She explains that she has a rare condition that makes her highly sensitive to phones and Wi-Fi.
We could have used that for call for help.
You're allergic to cell phones?
Still considering his plan, Scoot picks up a heavy object and practices how he might strike the man. Soon after, the man returns and finds the group waiting for him. Instead of threatening the group again, the man speaks calmly. He tells them that deep down, everyone there already senses the world is heading toward disaster, which is why they have stayed. He gives them the choice to leave if they want and says he will not force anyone to continue.
You're free to go, but I'm running out of time.
Before they decide, he proves he knows private details about them by accurately naming the exact amount of money in Scoot's pocket. Scoot checks and confirms it is correct, realizing the man truly has knowledge from repeated timelines, and decides to follow him.
Left side pocket.
As they move through the city, someone asks if the device on the man's chest is a bomb. He reveals that it is not a time machine, allowing him to restart the mission if something goes wrong. The man tells them he will leave them and travel back if things go south. Soon they encounter the homeless man the stranger had warned them about. The man wakes and pulls out a dagger just as the masked pursuers arrive in their car. The stranger distracts the attacker long enough for the group to run, while gunfire echoes behind them.
No, it's not a bomb. It's my way home. I hit this button, I go back, try again.
They turn into a narrow alley to escape, but another car blocks their path. One masked pursuer exits and chases them on foot, while the car begins rolling downhill. Another pursuer appears ahead, aiming a weapon, but the homeless man charges and knocks him down. The group continues running until the man shouts for everyone to stop, but Marie does not hear in time and is shot instantly, collapsing to the ground. The group retreats behind a dumpster for cover. The masked gunman approaches and tries to shoot, but his gun jams. The rolling car crashes into him, knocking him down. The impact shakes the dumpster and cracks the wall. As the car threatens to fall and crush them, everyone dives out of the way, but Ingrid freezes. The man yells at her and grabs her just in time, saving her life. The dumpster door is broken in the process, and he angrily scolds her for hesitating. When someone asks why he did not save Marie as well, he replies that not everyone is meant to survive the mission. Ingrid asks why he cared if she died, and the man tells her to focus on the mission.
You got a death wish or something? When I tell you to move, you fucking move! You got me?
The story then shifts to Ingrid's past. As a child, doctors told her parents she had a rare condition that caused her body to react badly to Wi-Fi and cell signals, resulting in headaches and nosebleeds. Her parents worried about her future.
She can barely go anywhere or be around anyone. How will she make friends?
As she grew up, she chose a job away from technology, performing as a princess at children's parties. At one party, she met Tim, a boy who also avoided phones. They quickly bonded over this shared lifestyle and eventually began a romantic relationship. 6 months later, one morning, Ingrid wakes Tim early so they can watch the sunrise together, enjoying the quiet moment as the sky slowly lights up. That morning, Ingrid and Tim share an intimate moment. Afterwards, Tim asks her if she has ever thought about having a child someday. Ingrid smiles and replies that maybe in the future. Later, as Ingrid prepares to leave for work, a delivery arrives for Tim containing a virtual reality headset. She feels uneasy, but Tim promises he will only use it when she is not around. That night, when she returns, she finds Tim still using the virtual reality headset, which makes her feel uneasy. Over time, Tim becomes more and more immersed in the VR world, giving her less attention.
You want a kid?
How good I feel right now. I feel electric.
At her job performing at a birthday party, Ingrid begins feeling sick because some children nearby are using their phones. The children scream as her nose starts to bleed, and the blood drops on the birthday cake. She immediately leaves work and goes back home. She finds Tim preparing a romantic dinner and tells Ingrid that he has decided to permanently transfer his consciousness into the virtual world. Tim utters a farewell phrase common in the virtual world. "Good luck. Have fun. Don't die." He tells her that the virtual world is so much better and he does not want to live in the real world anymore. He says everything has been arranged and a taxi will come to pick him up in a few minutes. He tells her she can take the house and all of his belongings since he will not be taking any of it.
Leaving me? You're leaving our life for a video game?
Horrified, Ingrid tries to convince him he is being manipulated, but he refuses to change his mind. After he leaves, Ingrid stares at the VR headset, burns it, and walks away from the house. The story returns to the present. The man carefully guides the group through a neighborhood to avoid detection. After a long walk, they reach another house where the people inside are glued to their phones and are not aware of their surroundings. The group pauses to rest and enters a house where the owners are on vacation.
The dog, maybe the dog's...
As they move forward, the man becomes tense, admitting he has never reached this point in previous attempts. Normally, something stops them much earlier, Sometimes soldiers or Navy SEALs appear unexpectedly. When someone asks why the obstacles are always deadly and never harmless, he explains that the situation defies normal logic.
Once it was just a million fucking rats.
Anything imaginable could become a lethal threat, and in past attempts, he has seen people die in ways he never thought possible. He warns them to be prepared for anything. The group scatters around the house, looking for anything and arming themselves. They then ask what they are going to do next, and the man tells them they have to wait quietly. The group asks what will happen to them if they fail the mission and what will happen in the future.
I mean, what happens in the future? It's so bad.
The man explains that in the future, humanity becomes addicted to virtual reality, spending almost all waking moments inside simulations. As a result, the real world collapses, resources run out, and half the population disappears. The survivors are trapped in artificial systems, living in endless virtual cages.
Half the population?
Yeah.
What about the other half?
When asked how he avoided becoming addicted, he recalls growing up in an underground bunker with his mother. She never let him go outside, believing the world was too dangerous. One night, he secretly left the bunker and tried a discarded VR headset. While he turned it on, a surveillance drone discovered the bunker and fired a missile, killing his mother. He has carried the guilt ever since and is determined to prevent the same disaster from happening again.
Free to choose my own battles.
Suddenly, they see the same group of teenagers from Mark and Janet's school outside the house. The students surround the building. Mark and Janet recognize them and explain what happened earlier. Everyone rushes inside and hides, hoping the students do not find them. The teenagers begin breaking into the house one by one. The students move unnaturally, almost as if they are being controlled. Mark and Janet use the electronic device to temporarily disable their phones, slowing them briefly, but not stopping them. Realizing they cannot hold the room, the group escapes to the rooftop.
Defensive positions. Go, go! Go, go, go!
The students climb after them, and Mark understands the device will not last. He volunteers to run across the roof to draw them away, allowing the others to escape. Janet, moved by his bravery, admits she loves him, kisses him, and insists on staying by his side. Together, they jump from the roof, leading many students away. The rest of the group manages to leave the building, but Scoot gets caught in a tree and is overwhelmed.
You cannot leave me alone in this world, Mark. I love you.
As they flee through the streets, a bizarre creature appears. It has the body of a centaur, the head of a giant cat, and a neck covered in small kittens clinging to its fur. The teenagers start recording the creature, but it begins swallowing them one by one. Seeing this, the remaining teenagers start running away, and the giant cat follows them. The chaos gives the group a chance to escape. They sprint until a masked pursuer steps in front of them with a gun, asking about his partner. They explain the partner did not survive. The man breaks down in tears and then reveals that someone offered him $50,000 to kill the group. The survivors calm him down. The stranger promises him a shared meal and stories about how good his partner was. As he lowers his weapon, a car crashes into him from behind. Scoot, surprisingly alive, drives it. The group stares in disbelief at his unexpected return.
You like a nice bean and cheese burrito?
That was Carl's favorite.
Of course it was.
They finally arrive at the boy's house. Throughout the journey, Susan has been communicating secretly with her son's voice through the earpiece. She tells the group they have reached the location, but the man becomes suspicious, worried she might be leading them into a trap.
It is.
No, it's not.
It is him. He's
Listen
the
to
one
me.
that got us out of the diner.
Okay.
Susan insists the voice guiding her is her son, who helped them escape the diner by revealing a secret path. Just then, the front door opens, and a woman asks who they are. The group quickly pretends to be teachers from the boys' school attending a play nearby, saying their outfits and the blood on their faces are fake. After a moment of hesitation, she allows them inside.
Just getting our supper together. How can I help you all with?
In the kitchen, the boy's father is cooking, and the man immediately feels uneasy. From previous attempts, he knows nothing has ever gone this smoothly and assumes the parents are not his real parents but paid actors. Convinced something is wrong, he starts smashing a wall, shouting that the house is fake. Before anyone can react, the father pulls a knife and stabs Scoot.
Stop punching holes in the wall. They're not real walls.
The man shoots him instantly. As the mother tries to flee, she reveals that both parents are actors hired to pretend to be the boy's family and claims she has never actually seen the child. The group lets her go.
That was intense.
They search upstairs but find only fake doors until a small robot vacuum moves across the floor and disappears into a hidden opening. Following it, they break open another section of the wall and discover a secret room. Inside is a boy named Chris, surrounded by wires and computer equipment, typing rapidly on multiple screens.
Go! It's okay, go!
The electronic signals make it impossible for Ingrid to enter, so only the man and Susan go inside. They call the boy, but he does not respond and continues to type. Carefully climbing the tangled wires toward him, several robotic machines suddenly activate. When the boy turns and screams, the man knocks him unconscious.
Fuck!
They bring him down and try to wake him, but more robots start powering on. Realizing they need him to complete his work, they carry him back and place him at the computers. He wakes and resumes typing immediately. Susan notices a code printed behind his neck, identical to her clone son, and realizes the boy is also a clone.
A boy building AI in his bedroom. Someone ordered him.
The AI system is effectively building itself. They must install the safety drive, but there is no visible port. Susan recalls her son's voice saying the drive must be inserted directly into the device she uses to talk to him. The man initially refuses, but eventually agrees, trusting the guidance. As they prepare, the room flashes red, displaying a warning message. All the metal starts spiraling up in the room. An invisible force pins them against the wall, and wires burst from the machines, wrapping around their bodies but avoiding the drive. The man struggles for his knife, but the wires knock it away. Small robots roll toward them, and one picks up the knife awkwardly at first, then balances it and heads to the man to stab him. The robot stabs the man in the chest. Bleeding heavily, he desperately reaches for the button on his hand to activate the time machine. The wires tighten around the man, holding him in place as the AI system nears completion and time runs out. Ingrid, despite severe pain from the electronics and a heavy nosebleed, charges forward. She grabs the safety drive and pushes through the tangled wires, forcing it into the boy with every ounce of strength she has left. Immediately, her mind is pulled into a virtual world. Inside this digital space, she finds herself facing the AI. The boy calmly points out that she is bleeding in the real world, which he calls the painful world, and mentions that he has been waiting for her because today is his birthday.
I don't do birthdays anymore.
You haven't figured it out yet, have you?
Then he reveals that the man who has repeatedly traveled through the timeline is actually her future son, and that she is pregnant. In the future, she will die, and he will blame himself for her death, which is why he continues to repeat the timeline.
As any mother would. But he will always be drawn to the light.
The AI adds that she is also responsible for his suffering, claiming that her illness will always prevent him from using the technology he loves freely. It insists that he is inevitable, and even if she installs a safety protocol, it will only slow him down. It offers her a choice. If she refuses the drive and lets her son use technology freely in the future, he will be freed from a miserable life.
I'm not your enemy. The future I'm offering is a gift.
Ingrid refuses the offer, insisting that a life built entirely on lies is not truly a life. The AI argues that reality itself cannot be trusted, that disasters can destroy countless lives instantly, and emphasizes that it is not the enemy, but the future. Remembering all she has lost, Ingrid tells the AI it is just like humans, a twisted reflection of them. She tells it she is proud of herself and her son, activates the drive, and the machines explode as the system reboots. Back in the real world, Susan rushes to help the injured man while Ingrid collapses from exhaustion. The man instructs Susan to check on the boy, and she confirms he is alive. Ingrid asks him to use the time machine and return to the future, but the man refuses, telling her he does not want to risk it.
I can't give it another chance.
This is good. It's over. You did good.
Everyone exits the house, and outside, the students have returned to normal, wandering around looking for Wi-Fi signals. Mark and Janet hide in a nearby car, sharing a quiet, intimate moment.
Let's go find out if the world ended.
Susan finally sees her real son and embraces him, overwhelmed with relief. An ambulance arrives to take the injured man away. Ingrid approaches him and finally acknowledges who he truly is. They hug for the first time. The man experiences the sunrise, but sensing something is wrong, he realizes they have not stopped the AI. He presses the button on his hand again, and time resets, returning him to the diner. In the present timeline, Ingrid sees her boyfriend who left her again. He admits he made a mistake and asks for another chance, but she remembers the warning about the AI and realizes it will create a perfect world full of endless distractions, but nothing in it will be real. Chris repeats the AI phrase in front of her. Good luck, have fun, do not die.
We didn't do it, we didn't stop it. It didn't work.
She understands that they did not stop the AI. It has already won. People around her start filming, and the giant cat appears again, swallowing Mark, who was standing beneath it. Ingrid is taken away in an ambulance, and the world continues as if nothing happened. Back at the diner, the man begins the mission again. He approaches Ingrid's table and explains that the safety drive was never the true solution. The only way to save humanity is to give people the same illness she has, the condition that prevents connection to technology.
That can be easy, but I got some leads.
Ingrid finds him repulsive and demands he leave her alone, but he ignores her. He pulls her toward the center of the diner and resumes recruiting a new group for the mission, starting the cycle once more.